A couple of months ago, I did a video about this car, and in that video, I tried to avoid my opinions. I just tried to tell you objectively what is good and what is not so good about the car. But in this video, I'm going to give you my opinions about what I like and what I don't like, and why I'm replacing this rather wonderful Mazda MX5 with this Porsche Cayman GTS. In March this year, I became a father, and since I became a father, I've not felt comfortable driving this thing around track. I've been doing quite a few track days in it. I'm driving at speeds of over 100 miles an hour. I'm braking as hard as I can, as late as I can, and I'm on the edge of grip.
Just be a bit more careful for a church. Let's see if I can get the apex. Fastest corner probably in the, whoa, jeepers, creepers. Oh, hey, hey. Yep, I did slide a little bit there. The car just skipped and I was sort of hanging on there going towards the apex.
So, I feel I need to take responsibility for the fact that there is a significant chance I could have quite a nasty smash in this. And I'm not so comfortable that it doesn't have a roof, because although it does have this fabric roof and it does have some steel in it, it's not really structural, and if I was to roll it, it's not going to protect me very much. So I gave myself an ultimatum. Either I give up the hobby and keep the Mazda and only drive it on road, or if I want to continue doing track days, I need a safer car. A car that's better to have a crash in. A car with a very solid roof. But this wasn't my first choice. My first choice was actually a Toyota GR86. I was going to import one from Japan, the Ridge Green Limited model with gold wheels. I was really quite excited. I had a company that was helping me, Torque GT in the West Country. They're actually really helpful, but I pulled out. I pulled out once I found out how unreliable the GR86 can be on track. What happens is during sustained cornering, the oil pump can drain the oil sump of oil quicker than the oil can return to the sump. People get oil starvation and then engine failure. There are things you can do to mitigate it, and I looked into them, I considered them, and I thought, no, I don't want to do all this work to a car I've just bought when I can find a car out of the box that works on track without me having to modify the engine. This one does that. No problems with the engine, 20 track days. I did my research. I've always liked the Boxster and the Cayman, and these don't seem to suffer from that problem. And overall, the whole package seems to fit me for what I need right now. Now, when I tell people I bought this car for safety, quite often they seem confused, and it's as if they don't believe me, and I get it. If you want a safe car, why haven't you bought something like a Volvo? Why have you bought a sports car? But it's how I use the car. I need a car that I can use on track, and I no longer feel comfortable tracking a convertible without a roll cage. And that brings me on to the first thing I really like about this car. It is just so damn solid. It's like it's milled out of marble. I've had it in the air and I've looked under it, and I can't see much rust. Yes, the odd suspension component has a bit of rust and the odd bolt has some rust, but this car seems to have less rust on it after 11.5 years and 84,000 miles than my Mazda had after 3 months, which was one winter. I bought it late October, and come spring, there was quite a bit of rust under that car. I know which one I would rather have a crash in. Not that I'm planning on crashing it, but I feel safer in this one. Now, I know the safest thing I could do would be to buy a car with a full roll cage, buckets and harnesses, but I wouldn't enjoy driving that on the road. I don't like sitting in buckets, harnesses. Well, if you use them properly, you're strapped in tight, you can't move even to reach the climate control knobs. And 93% of my miles have been done on the road in the Mazda. Yes, I do keep track of this kind of thing. I could get a trailer and just use it for track days, but then I'll need somewhere to keep a trailer, somewhere to keep a car that I use once every couple of months, and I would need a car suitable for towing that trailer. And my learner car, well, I don't really want to tow with that, and I don't want to change my partner's car because my partner likes her car and I like it too. And also I like driving sports cars on the road as well, so I need a car that's safer than my Mazda. It has a hardtop, I can still enjoy it on the road, and it's still going to work on track. And that's kind of what this does. Now you know why I have the car, I'm going to focus on the likes and the dislikes. And I've been keeping notes over the 2 months and 2,000 miles I've done in this car so far, so that I don't miss anything. First thing, the wheels. I like them and I hate them. When this car was being advertised, it had these turbo diamond cut wheels, and that was actually putting me off the car. I don't like diamond cut wheels. But when I went to view the car, it was at JR Motor Company in Coventry. Ian's the guy who runs the Porsche specialist there. Absolute legend. He's not sponsoring me, but I'm going to mention his name because it was the best car buying experience I've ever had. He just loves these cars. He knows everything about them. He knows what goes wrong, and he knows who can fix them as well. But anyway, I digress. Talking about the wheels, I said I don't really like those wheels. He goes, oh well, they didn't come. This car didn't come with those wheels. Came with these ones. Would you like these ones? I just put those turbo wheels on because they're flashy. Thought it might help sell the car. Yeah, I prefer these wheels. Not only that, he actually gave me a choice of the other Porsche wheels that were in stock. I could have had Carrera Classics, these other diamond cut ones. I went with these, really like the look of them, but hate cleaning them. Really hate cleaning them. I've never had a satin finish product on a car before, but it just doesn't want to clean. The dirt just sticks. Maybe this rain will help clean them. Something else about the wheels. This car has a tyre pressure monitoring system, so the dashboard can tell you what the pressure is in the tyres. But it spends probably about 20% of its time disconnected with a warning light on the dash. Now this is where reviewing a used car with previous owners can be unfair, because I don't know if these are the proper genuine tyre pressure sensors or if there's some aftermarket ones that don't work as well and don't communicate with the car very well. I simply don't know that. But they are annoying because I've managed to take this car on track. I haven't done a full on track day. I managed to get 40 cheeky miles at Snetterton. That's about 13 laps or so. And as the tyres heated up, I let the air out to maintain the pressure I wanted. And the system didn't recognise that. It didn't recognise that the pressure was still 33 psi, which is what I wanted. It just recognised that I let air out, and it kept warning me with this big red thing flashing up on the instrument cluster. You've lost 7 psi. Well, no, I let 7 psi out because it got hot and the pressures went up. Surely it should monitor the actual pressure, not just whether or not the pressure has gone down. So it's an annoying system, and it's a bit distracting when you're driving around track and you've got this thing that keeps flashing up. Something I have been enjoying are the Sports Plus seats. They are so comfortable. Sometimes I just want to go outside and sit in the car. I don't want to go anywhere. I just want to sit in this seat. And somehow they're really supportive. They manage to do both. And they're not only heated at the bottom and the back, I'm pretty sure the bolsters are heated as well, because when I put the heated seat on, it just feels like a warm hug. I do enjoy sitting here. As for looks, this video is about my opinion. I think this looks mega. But does it look better than the MX5? Not to my eyes, but I don't think that's because the MX5 is a better looking car than the Cayman. I think because I've had so many wonderful experiences in this car over the last, well, nearly 5 years, when I see it, it just makes me happy. So I think that's why when I look at this, well, it actually makes me very sad that I need to sell it. And in fact, I should have put it up for sale 2 months, 2.5 months actually now. I've had that 2.5 months, not 2 months. So yeah, and it's still here. I'm struggling to part with it. But ignoring my experiences, yeah, that is probably the more awesome car, let's be honest. I don't know the white, the dark chrome wheels, the blacks, the red roof. the Mazda looks really quite good in its own way. Anyway, let's move on. This has probably the most reliable auto wipers I've ever used. They turn on when it starts raining, speed up when the rain gets heavier. They slow down when the rain is less heavy, and they turn off when it stops raining. These cup holders are cool, but they do worry me because when I'm driving, this happens. Now, a bottle of water hasn't fallen out yet, but I think, well, it's only a matter of time. The PDK is both on my like and dislike list. Oh, do I miss manual? I keep going for it. I keep going to do a rev match downshift or go for an upshift, and it's just not there. Yes, PDK, you can do it better than me. Up yours, I like to do it myself. You may think, what's the point? Well, what's the point in playing tennis? What's the point in playing football? There is really no point. It's just enjoyable. And when I get that perfect rev matched downshift, it feels good. In the same way, if you do a perfect tennis serve, that probably feels good as well. I don't know, I've never done one. On the track though, I don't think I'm going to miss manual, because on track, manual just slows me down. But on track, I have something else I can focus on. I can focus on going as quick as I can. On the road, I can't go that quick. So having something else to play with, the clutch, balancing the right amount of gas with the clutch, selecting that gear, that's something I can do and something I can enjoy. Whereas here, I'm a bit more of a passenger, and that's okay at the moment. I'm just cruising in this urban area, or if I'm on a motorway. But when I get to a fun road, yeah, I'm missing manual. This car has a detailed lap timer. This is a bit of a gimmick. This just looks cool, but really what you're using is that, and you control it with this stalk. And I haven't actually used it because you're not supposed to time your laps on track, but I've driven it around the block a few times and done the timer just to see how it works. And when you go into here, it gives you loads of data, and you can like save it and you can transfer it. So if you did want to record some lap times, it does have a good system. And also the LCD screens don't really date the car, even though it's 11 years old. You can see they have really deep blacks. Now, yes, it doesn't look as up to date as the latest ones, but they don't look bad, and the car is old. And if I was to look at this interior, how hard wearing it is, like this seat and all the materials. If someone said this car had 5,000 miles on it and it's 6 months old, I would believe them. It might have something to do with the previous two owners. The first owner, I believe, was from Birmingham, and the second owner, Truro, in Cornwall. But generally, when I look at these cars, the interiors do seem in very good nick. They are hard wearing, but there is an annoying noise, and you may have heard it when I was just showing you the interior. This seatbelt buckle constantly makes that noise when I'm driving, and this used to as well, but I fixed it by putting a little bit of felt there. And I think if I put a little bit of felt where my finger is, just down there on this seatbelt buckle, that will go away. And another annoying noise is this seatbelt here. It kind of, I can get it on camera, does that when I'm driving sometimes. So what I end up doing is just, actually most of the time I drive this, I just plug this in to stop that happening. And it's quite handy because I quite often have a bag and that holds the bag in place. My partner does not like this car. She says it's like an old creaky car, and she has a point. She is used to a new Toyota Corolla hybrid. When I say new, it's 2 years old, but she's had it from new. When she comes off the brake pedal in that car, in a car park, it's easy to control how slow she wants to go because the car reacts immediately. When she turns the wheel, it's light. There's no jerky gear changes. In fact, there's no gear changes, and the car doesn't creak or rattle as she drives down the road. She's been used to that now for over 2 years. She gets into this and she comes off the brake pedal and the car doesn't move. And she thinks, oh, why isn't that moving? Then it starts moving. Bit delayed. Changes from first to second gear, sometimes a bit jerky, and the steering is heavy. The first time she tried to move this car in a car park, she nearly went into a car because she couldn't steer the wheel quick enough, or as quick as she is used to, so she couldn't make the turn. So she had to stop, because she couldn't turn fast enough because it was too heavy for her. And when she's driving down the road, she constantly hears this knocking and this rattling, so it just doesn't sound as well put together as her Toyota. And she has a very good point about these things, but that is missing the point of this car. When you drive it in a performance orientated manner, well, it doesn't feel old or out of date, it feels bang up to date. I really like that it gives me all this data: coolant temperature, oil pressure and battery voltage. That means I can keep an eye on whether or not the car is running properly, and I can keep an eye on my tyre pressures as well, at least when it's working. At the moment this one's not on, but that's simply because I need to drive a little bit further before it registers the pressure. If you can get it, I recommend the interior lighting package. It's an option you can have on this car, and it makes the car this warm, glowing beacon when it's dark and miserable. Really makes the car look nice at night. My partner is right. The steering in this car is too heavy. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to put my back out turning the car around, but turning the car around is more difficult than it really needs to be. And when you bought this car new, you could option something called Power Steering Plus, which basically means you have lighter steering at lower speeds like you would normally get in a car. So to me, it just seems like it's a way Porsche can get you to pay for something that you should already have. If I could get Power Steering Plus on this, I would like to give it a go. I think I may be able to, because I think it's just a case of changing some software, just switching it on essentially. Bit annoying that. I do really like the Bose system. Paired with Mr. 12 volt, that's an aftermarket Android Auto Apple CarPlay, something you can install, and it uses the fiber optics of the stereo to maintain sound quality. A lot of people complain about this Bose system not being good. However, I disagree. Using the fiber optics, having a good input source as well, the sound quality is better than most other cars I've tried. I think I should take my seatbelt off because you've probably been hearing that when I've been talking. Not sure if you can hear that. I've already mentioned the interior lighting package. Works well. Take the key out, open the door, lights up like a Christmas tree, looks good. But when you're driving, it's also good because it's dim enough that you can see out the windows well, but light enough that you can see most of the interior, which is handy. Also, the headlights on this car, the PDLS headlights, work well on the motorway. I can see quite far on dipped beams. You can get PDLS Plus, the plus meaning it has automatic high beam and low beam, but I'm not sure if it's worth trying to find a car with that option, because cars from this era, those auto high beam and low beams didn't tend to work very well, but I haven't tried it, so I don't know. I would like to see how they work. I do miss having adaptive lights like I have on the Mazda MX5 and the Toyota Corolla when I'm driving on country roads though, because although this has very good full beams, on country roads there's usually an oncoming car and I can't have full beams on and I just can't see very far. Whereas in the Toyota and the Mazda, yeah, I can see far regardless of whether or not there's an oncoming car. And they don't flash me, so they are working. They are keeping the oncoming car dimmed whilst lighting up the left side of the road so that I can see further up the road and hopefully shoo some of those animals away. Here's another example of how high quality this car feels. I'm going to take the key out of the ignition. Okay, the window moved, which is why it went down. But do you hear that? And then I'm going to open the rear boot. Did you hear that? Everything is like, it's just solid. Something I don't like about this car is money. And it's not about how much money it's cost for me to buy it or how much money it's going to cost for me to run it. It's the fact that the general population know that this is an expensive car. And I don't like the attention. My sister, for example, didn't even believe it was my car. She thought I was just borrowing it. Whereas I went out and bought a brand new MX5. Bear in mind, a brand new MX5 is the same price as this car. This car is £36,500, and if I went out today and bought a brand new top spec MX5, it's about the same money. no one said anything when I bought the MX5. No one thinks it's an expensive car, so you're kind of under the radar, and that's something I like. I don't like showing off an expensive thing everywhere I go. It is for some people, it's not for me. I'll be quite happy if this had a Renault badge on it but did exactly the same job. And it's probably going to be cheaper to run because the depreciation you have on the MX5 is quite a lot if you buy a new car. This car last year didn't actually depreciate. In fact, it went up in value, you could say, by about 1%, depending on what figures you look at. And although it costs more to run, unless something really bad happens that costs a lot of money to fix, it's unlikely going to be more expensive than going out and buying a brand new MX5 that no one's going to take a second look at. Okay, enthusiasts are going to like it, you get thumbs up driving it, but no one's going to think you flash, no one's going to think you got loads of money, they're just going to see a Mazda. There are two things in particular that I don't like about this interior, but I also like them, and that's all this shiny material. It looks lovely, I like it for that, but in reality, when you're driving, when the sun bounces off it, it can be quite painful and distracting. So it's not the best colour to have. You can get these in different colours, but it does look nice. And also the parking brake. Down here, you push it to put it on and you pull it to turn it off. Now, everyone knows that is the wrong way for a parking brake. Something you may want to be cautious about when you're buying a used one of these cars is the service interval. Recommended, the service is every 2 years or 20,000 miles. Now, I've done my own experiment and I can say that actually, in my experience, doing long life services has been fine when you're using the specific oil. The trouble is, not all garages use the specific long life oil. I've done a test myself. I've owned a car from new. I still have it. I've had it for 11.5 years, done nearly 220,000 miles in it, and I've been doing long life services using the correct oil, and there's no sludge. It's still very healthy. Makes power, can't see sludge, and I've even recently looked at the cylinder walls, and they were good. The problem with this car is that when you change the oil, you only get 7.5 litres out. Yet the engine holds 10.1 litres of oil because the oil gets stuck in places where it doesn't drain when you take the sump plug out. So you're only changing 75% of the oil. Now I know in all cars you don't get it all out, but you get more than 75% out, surely. I don't actually know the numbers, but yeah, I don't think you leave 25% in. So a long life service plan, 20,000 miles every 2 years, and you're only changing 3/4 of the oil every 2 years. That does concern me. I haven't tested it, I don't know, but I won't be changing the oil on this car every 2 years. It will be more often than that. I don't like Sports Plus mode. If I want to have fun, I like to be in manual and maybe sport mode. Sport mode opens the exhaust valves so that the engine's a bit louder, you can hear it, and it makes the gearbox mounts a bit stiffer, which should sharpen up the gear shifts, and also I believe it should make the gear shifts a bit faster. Not sure if I can notice a difference though. Sports Plus mode, what it does is when you accelerate hard and then go up a gear, it gives what's known as a torque boost. It's like a kick in the back. I don't like that. I don't think it's good for the car, I don't think it's good for control, and it just reminds me, I can't go fast enough now to use it, so I can't show you. But all it reminds me of is one of my learner drivers when they give too much gas and lift the clutch. It just feels like a low quality gear shift. And it does concern me about how much wear it's actually putting on the transmission and the engine mounts and gearbox mounts. The suspension is a bit too firm for a lot of the roads I drive on. It doesn't help me with car control, it actually makes it a bit worse because sometimes the wheels get a little bit light as I go over some of the bumps. But I can't call it uncomfortable. Sun in my eyes at the moment is uncomfortable, but the car isn't uncomfortable. The seat is so comfortable that it makes up for any stiffness in the suspension. We have fan style front washer jets. They are good. Something I'm suspicious of is that when I turn the traction control off, it's not completely off. Because I had a play around on track, and even when it was off, I found it quite hard to get this car to have a little bit of a slide. It felt like something was holding me back. I haven't tried enough to really know. I'll find out with a bit more practice. It might just be because it's got so much grip. And yes, it's got these Michelin Pilot Sport 4S tyres on at the moment, and they do generate a lot of grip, come wet, come dry, and a lot of confidence. I haven't bought them. Michelin have provided me with them, so I will be reviewing them. I haven't done enough miles on them to have a verdict yet, but first impressions are impressive. They're not sponsoring me. I can give whatever review I wish. Right, there's no one behind me. Shall we listen to the sports exhaust? It sounds good from inside the car. Oh yeah! And there's 60 miles an hour. I can't go any faster than that. But the sound in itself is all that's needed for this car to be pleasurable. I did try a 2.5 GTS, the later one, the 718. I thought, got to be crazy to buy one of these older 981s. Struggling to see a bit now because it's a bit darker here, take them off. Because these 981s are basically the same money as the newer 718s with a 2.5 litre 4-cylinder, and then that car is a better car. The 2.5 4-cylinder car has better steering, it has better suspension, it has more power, it makes more of that power in more places. But when I drove one, I just felt cold. And it's not that I don't like the sound of 4-cylinders, I like the sound of my Mazda, but I just didn't gel with it. If it was a Golf R, I'm sure I'd really like it, but the engine in that car, I didn't want it. I drove an older car, this car, well not just this car, another car, and once I drove the older 3.4 6-cylinder, which is what this is, well, I knew I've got to have one of these, even though they're older and even though they're not as good and they cost the same money. There's no contest. I want this one. The reason why I prefer this 6-cylinder isn't actually because of the sound. Yes, I do prefer the sound, but that's not the reason why I felt like I must get an older 6-cylinder instead of the newer and better 4-cylinder turbo. It's actually to do with the way the power is produced in the 4-cylinder. Even at low revs, it produces loads of power, so I never get to enjoy wide open throttle, hearing the engine with the car not accelerating too quickly. In the 4-cylinder, it accelerates quickly at most revs. If you're above 2 grand, it's going to go fast. Whereas in this car, I can change up early. I can have the revs at 3 grand, say 3,000 revs, put my foot down hard, get the sound from the engine, and it becomes like a slower car, but it still feels like I'm driving it hard. And the saying is, it's better to drive a slow car fast than a fast car slow. And that's what I like about this engine. It gives me both options. It is fast. If I take it to the track, I can get those revs up and be very quick. But on the road, I can change up early, drive at lower revs, still put my foot down, still hear the engine fully open, making it sound without accelerating so quickly that I'm over the speed limit within a couple of seconds. Something else I like about this car is the fuel economy. Yes, it's a 6-cylinder. It drinks more fuel than most cars, but driving it on country roads, I'm getting 17 to 20. Driving it around town, I'm getting 25. And on the motorway, I'm getting 40. Now, from such a big engine with 6 cylinders, 3.4 litres, 6 cylinders, I think that is actually very good fuel economy. I can do a long journey on the motorway and do 40 miles to the gallon. I'm very happy with that. And to put it into context, most 6-cylinder cars I know of struggle to get 30 miles to the gallon at motorway speeds. Something else I like is the fact it feels like a luxury car. So I can have my cake and eat it. I can really have some luxury, I can relax, cruise on the motorway, take it far and wide, go to all the tracks I like, go to all the beautiful roads I like to go to in comfort on those boring motorways. I would really like adaptive cruise control, and that is actually a possibility, because on those long motorway journeys I'm quite happy to listen to a book and relax and not have to keep doing cruise control manually all the time. But with the PDK you could get adaptive cruise control with this car as a factory option, and there is someone in Germany who retrofitted it to his Cayman, his 981 Cayman, so that is something I may look into doing in the future. Something you may not think about, but I think it's important, and that is spares. Porsche are known for providing spares for their cars for years, for decades. That's a good thing, because if something goes wrong, I know I can get the part for it. It may be a bit expensive, but at least I know I can get it. And although it's expensive, it's not prohibitive. For example, the door seal that goes all the way around here, I wouldn't mind a new one of those, because it's getting a bit worn down there and doesn't look very good. It's 170 quid, that's a lot of money. But a new one for my Seat, that's 70 quid. So yes, it is expensive, it is more, but it's not like 10 times more. It's not silly money. If I really want it, I could get it. And it has 2 boots, so I can genuinely drive this car around the country in comfort with stuff, yet it's going to be awesome when I get to a beautiful mountain road or a race circuit. If you found the video interesting, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to get my future videos, and until the next one, cheerio.